What if I told you that humanity almost vanished in just 24 hours? That the history you know, the world you live in today, could have ended, and you wouldn't even have known. It sounds like science fiction, a Hollywood disaster movie, but the truth is far stranger. Imagine the planet's fate hanging by a thread, not from aliens, not from a volcano, but from decisions, mistakes, and events humans could barely control. Today, I'm taking you through the day history almost ended, a story of near destruction, a story you've never been taught in school. Let's go back to October 1962. The world was in the middle of the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union, two superpowers, were staring at each other across the globe, not with words, but with nuclear missiles. On one side, the US, already in fear of Soviet expansion. On the other, the USSR, desperate to gain a strategic advantage. Then came the discovery. American spy planes found Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida, nuclear warheads aimed at the heart of the United States. The world didn't know it yet, but humanity was on the brink. President John F. Kennedy and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev were now playing a deadly game of chess. A single wrong move could trigger a global nuclear war. For 13 tense days, the world waited. As communications crackled, threats were made, and military forces prepared for action. There were moments when US forces were ready to launch a preemptive strike. There were moments when Soviet submarines armed with nuclear torpedoes were ready to fire. And yet, by the smallest margin of wisdom and restraint, a global nuclear war was avoided. Whose like that humanity survived? By the narrowest of threads, but that wasn't the only day humanity nearly ended. Let's travel millions of kilometers from our planet to the void of space. On June 30th, 1908, a massive asteroid, later called the Tunguska event, exploded over Siberia. The force of the explosion, roughly 1,000 Hiroshima bombs, all at once, flattened 2,000 square kilometers of forest. And it happened without warning. Imagine if that asteroid had hit a major city, or the coast, or a place where hundreds of millions lived. Humanity could have lost a significant portion of its population in a single morning. Scientists today calculate that Earth experiences a Tunguska-scale event once every 300 to 500 years. The scary part? We have no way to predict the next one with certainty. But danger doesn't always come from space, objects, or missiles. Sometimes it comes from our own star, the Sun. In 1859, something extraordinary happened. The Carrington event. A massive solar storm hit Earth. Telegraph systems failed. Sparks flew from equipment. Fires started in cities. Scientists now say if a Carrington-level solar storm hit Earth today, the entire planet could experience widespread power outages, collapsed communications, chaos in transportation, hospitals, and banking systems. A single natural phenomenon, billions of kilometers away, could throw humanity back into the Dark Ages. Overnight, but sometimes the threat isn't external. It's human error. In 1983, a Soviet early warning system mistook sunlight on clouds for incoming U.S. missiles. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov, the officer in charge, faced a choice that could trigger nuclear war instantly. And he did the unthinkable. He decided it was a false alarm against protocol. That single act of judgment over procedure may have prevented a nuclear catastrophe. Humanity's survival sometimes isn't about technology. It's about people making the right decision at the right moment. When we look back at history, we often think of kings, battles, and discoveries. Rarely do we think about how fragile life really was, how easily civilization could have ended. The Cuban Missile Crisis, the Tunguska event, the Carrington solar storm, human errors. All of these show the thin line between survival and extinction. And here's the scary truth. That line still exists today. Every day, events unfold that could change everything. Today, humanity faces threats like nuclear war, supervolcanoes, asteroid impacts, artificial intelligence gone rogue, global pandemics. Each of these could erase billions of lives in a blink. But history teaches us one thing. We survive not because we are invincible, but because we adapt, the sidi wiseli, and sometimes just get lucky. So, next time you scroll your phone or sip coffee in the morning, remember, the world almost ended many times before we even knew. The history you take for granted could have been completely different. Humanity survived against all odds. Not once, not twice, but countless times. And that's the story of the day, or rather, the days, when history almost ended. If this story shocked you, imagine how many other events in history could have changed everything. Subscribe now for more hidden history facts. Like the video if it blew your mind, and comment below. I want to know more near-extinction stories. Because history isn't just the past, it's a mirror showing us how fragile our world really is.